rise and shout. It's time for What's Trending. Yes, it is a game day. Time for game notes.
Okay.
Everything you need to be paying attention to closely tonight as you prepare as a fan for the Cougars and Aggies version 2022. Jarom, we will start with this. BYU, a 24-point favorite, but the Cougars are dealing with a rash of injuries. Utah State has notably been a little bit banged up. They certainly have not been playing good football. So for BYU, even with the injuries in store and all the rivalry storylines, is it cover, win by 24 or more, or bust?
No, if there was a backdoor cover by Utah State to cut it to 21, whatever, it's all good. I think BYU will win comfortably in this, though, because Utah State's going through something, and it doesn't have a ton to do with BYU. It has a ton to do with their issues and injuries and ineptitude on the Aggie side of the ball. They've certainly had problems. They barely beat Connecticut to start. They got blown out by Alabama 55-0. That might have broken their will in some way because the next week they lose at home to Weber State, and then they lose to UNLV, who's 3-1, but it's UNLV, dog. 1-3, that's tough. That's tough. And now they come to Provo with a motivated, excited, senior-driven, Jaron Hall-led BYU that is not going to drop this game. Now, the only way this game changes is if there's, like, game-changing injuries on both sides, which is any football game for any team, it feels like. So hopefully everyone's good because there's been a history of that on both sides, not just BYU, on Utah State's as well. Everyone just be healthy and let's just play a game and go home, okay?
Please.
So, yeah, it's not cover or bust, but I do believe BYU is going to blow the heck out of Utah State tonight.
Okay, so 24-plus you feel confident in. Dare I say,
yeah.
17++? We cool with that?
It's a 17++ game. Yes, exactly.
I don't feel like this game's a bust unless Utah State is within single digits in the fourth quarter. At that point, it just gets weird. And then everybody's uncomfortable. And even if BYU holds
even
on
Utah
to
State
win,
would be like, whoa, why are we in this
BYU
game?
Holds on to
gross.
win. You know,
What?
let's say it's like an 8-point game and with 10 minutes to play. It's just weird. Right? BYU's a 24-point favorite. They're at home. It's a night game. We have spent so much time talking about how dominant BYU has been on their home field at night.
22-1 since 2019.
It's time to put up again, right? It's time to show out again under the Thursday night lights. Nostris Nocturnus.
Own the night.
Okay, own the night.
We speak Latin on this
BYU
program.
needs to do that tonight. It can't be a close game in the fourth quarter because that's the bust scenario for me. If BYU wins by 15 or 17, I don't care. Great. Just don't have it be like a one-score or single-digit game as we push into the fourth quarter, because then who knows what happens. Maybe it's raining, then there's a weird fumble. Like, it's a weird game sometimes. Take care of business, start fast. BYU needs to start fast, and I believe they will.
If BYU doesn't win by 21+, we're going to feel a little weird going into Notre Dame week. Okay, second one. Will the BYU defense do its thing against a G5 again?
Yes. For all of the reasons I just presented, Thursday night lights, LaVell Edwards Stadium, BYU's coming off of a somewhat meh performance against Wyoming, and they've been reminded of that all week. So I'm banking on
14 wasn't enough.
I'm banking on guys, feeling like, okay, we need to go out and handle business early. And BYU will have some injured players from the Wyoming game back in this game for Utah State. So I feel like we'll see a more healthy version of BYU that should translate certainly on the defensive side to slowing the Aggies and keeping Utah State to 300 yards or fewer. I feel like BYU is in position once again to hold a team under the 300 yards of offense. And I ask you this question as you answer. What has Utah State done at any point this season? At any point this season to make you think that they're going to come to Provo at night and all of a sudden put together like this incredible offensive game plan?
Later in a moment, we'll talk about the difference that could be for Utah State. Okay. But I believe that BYU's defense will do its G5 thing again. 2-0, 286 yards, 22.5 points allowed. By the way, Utah State putting up a whopping 15.5 points per game.
That's what I'm saying.
It's so bad. Now, 0 against Alabama certainly affects that. But you've played UConn, Weber State, and UNLV. Utah State should be 3-1.
Yeah, throw out the
1-3.
Alabama game. You just look at the three opponents that we think, hey, Utah State should have handled. Like, the UConn game was weird. But I chalk that up to, okay, maybe it's just early, like getting,
No, that was an indication that this team had
cobwebs.
issues now.
Exactly.
We see it.
Now, when you lose to
I just
UNLV,
watched Avatar. I see you.
When you lose to UNLV and Weber Stadium, Weber State by 28 points.
No
they
disrespect
lost
to Weber State. Great FCS team. Jay Hill, they do a great job. You can't lose at home to Weber State.
By 28?
You can't lose by 1.
Well, I have no reason to believe that all of a sudden Utah State's going to be like incredible. Maybe there's some lineup changes.
If Weber State wins the national championship, maybe you tolerate that loss.
Okay. Fair point. Like maybe a little bit more like,
maybe.
Yeah, but they won the national championship. But it was by 28 in Logan.
Bad.
Same city, I guess. It doesn't matter.
It's the same Ogden and Ogden are the same city.
Next game note. BYU's been really good at preventing big plays overall this season.
Totally.
Really good. Will BYU allow a rush, specifically, of 20-plus yards? Because in wins, there's a common theme there, Jarom.
Yes. USF and Baylor and Wyoming, 13, 13, and 19 were the longest rushes.
No 20-plus runs.
Yeah, there'll be some late, weird run with the third stringers in there. Yeah, it'll happen tonight. Whatever.
It's going to be like 21 yards.
Yeah.
Okay.
This doesn't really matter to me. It won't happen when the game's within 20.
This is just another indication of BYU's defense being really good overall, we think.
Yes.
Even with injuries. I
know
Oregon was – Can we just say that the Oregon defensive game plan – and this happens sometimes in football – it was a swing and a miss. Like, they prepared for something, and Oregon did something entirely different. Like, that's tough.
And BYU didn't adjust quick enough.
No, it happens in football.
Yeah.
But outside of that, BYU's defense has been really solid. So if we're thinking that, under 300 yards allowed to the opponent again.
Which is a crazy number.
It's really good.
It's pretty good.
This Utah State team, I don't feel like they're explosive enough for us to be like, they're going to run all over BYU.
They don't have 50-yard play. They don't, no.
Okay. So maybe one, and I'm kind of in the same, ilk as you, where it's like, okay, maybe against the third stringers late in the game, they break off a big play. Doesn't matter.
Okay, next one.
Okay.
4 different players have had a 100-yard receiving or rushing game this season. Will we see a 5th tonight?
Ooh.
So we've had Chris Brooks, Chase Roberts, Miles Davis, Keanu Hill. I'll go for 100 plus.
It's got to be one of those, somebody not in that list.
No, just will anybody have?
Oh, okay. So we can include those guys.
Yeah.
Then absolutely.
Will someone have?
I'm buying in on that.
It's been 4 different guys so far, which is crazy.
Yeah. Maybe it's Gunnar Romney tonight. Maybe Gunnar.
What if Gunnar just steps into this game
party
where he caught his first touchdown pass in 2018 from one Zach Wilson? He returns tonight. And boom goes.
He's undoubtedly a deep threat. He becomes, if he plays and is fully healthy, he automatically is vaulted #1 deep threat.
What I don't need, though, is him diving after a ball because he lacerated his kidney on day 3 of fall camp.
That's tough because he plays.
Take it easy.
He plays with the cliche reckless abandon, right?
Yeah.
That's part of what makes him great. But, I'm kind of with you. I'm like, just be a little more cautious tonight.
Yeah. He's the only guy that I just want to see a few snaps from. Just ahead of Notre Dame. Everyone else, I don't need to see Caleb Hayes, Max Tooley, whatever. We're good.
Yeah, it's going to happen again. Somebody's going to go for 100 plus.
Miles Davis will get 100 plus.
All right.
Miles Davis.
Okay.
Again.
Now, Utah State and their quarterback, Logan Bonner, things have not gone well. He was really, really good, but he had some unbelievable weapons last year that have now graduated onto the National Football League. And the wide receiver core that we talked about yesterday with Scott Gerard, the voice of the Aggies, has just not acclimated. Frankly, they've been really bad.
They have some good weapons, but they're not getting enough done.
Yes, it's just not working right now.
Yeah.
So if it's on Logan Bonner or the receivers, I don't know. But Logan threw 5 interceptions last game. Not great. He's been banged up. Do we expect to see former Orem High School star, the backup quarterback for the Utah State Aggies, Cooper Laga, who came in the bowl game for Utah State last year and did a nice job?
I guarantee he plays because I think either way for Utah State, especially if they're getting blown out,
you need to change something up. You got to change something up.
So they do this thing where they run out both quarterbacks and other offensive players after a kickoff together, and then they break. So every time the crowd's like, is Cooper Laga going in? Cooper Laga is a 49% passer in his career on 37 attempts, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. He was pretty good in the bowl game, 11 of 20, 171, 2 touchdowns. He's going up against his old Orem High teammates of Puka Nacua and Kingsley Suamati and Jacob Robinson, Ethan Slade, and Josh Singh. Here's a couple of photos. They know each other. Cooper Lega was probably, I'm guessing, interested in BYU. BYU had its guys in Jacob Conover and eventually Cade Finnegan and Soljay Mava and whatnot, and Jaron Hall, of course. So this is one of those games where you have an inside guy, perhaps he wants to show what he can do not only to his own fan base, but BYU and its coaches. So that's the only sort of X factor for Utah State in my mind is what if Cooper Lega is the spark that gets them just going a little bit and maybe BYU struggling. I just don't see a way outside of, again, the we shall not name this situation. Barring that happening, that BYU doesn't just blow out Utah State.
Yeah, listen, if the Aggies don't have a change of pace somewhere in a roster shakeup tonight, I'll be shocked.
How about
something? You try something different. You have nothing to lose.
Logan Bonner has thrown more picks last 2 weeks than Jaron Hall has in his career.
So if Logan Bonner sits tonight and they put in Cooper Lega, I have zero issue with that. Just try something different.
Okay, who needs to play to feel more comfortable about the roster against Notre Dame?
We've already talked about one of them, Gunnar Romney. I feel like he needs to just get in there. I know people are like, look, he's a Division I athlete. He's been practicing. It shouldn't be that big of a deal, but it is. You kind of just need some game time to get ready for an even bigger game. You got to shake off the cobwebs
next week.
Okay. I don't think Gunnar's going to be super slow or anything. In fact, everything that I've heard is he looks amazing in practice right now. And he is ultra motivated and just so frustrated he hasn't been on the field. So maybe he's a little overhyped. Okay.
He might get in a sportsmanlike penalty, just crack back block just to get in there tonight, you know?
Gunnar is at the top of the list that needs to play tonight. Outside of that, and I know there are a laundry list of injuries for BYU, but I don't really feel like, man, there's somebody else that has to play. Maybe Earl Tuioti Mariner on the defensive line. I'd like to see get back in the game tonight for at least a few series and then get ready for the physicality of Notre Dame. Max Tooley was a guy that was out last week, and I know people are like, man, we can't have Max. Like, Max Tooley does not need to play tonight. Like, if he's not feeling good and his ankle's not feeling okay, don't know. No. So to me, it's just Gunnar Romney. Are you going to add anybody?
It's only Gunnar. I don't need to see anybody else.
Yeah.
Just Gunnar.
All right.
And even Gunnar, I don't want him to have 8 grabs for 122 and 2 touchdowns. I just want him to be out there a little bit enough to, like, I don't need you risking injury again. I want you for Notre Dame and Arkansas.
I'm okay if Gunnar only catches like 3 passes as long as one is a touchdown. Because
that'd be nice.
He may or may not be in my fantasy football starting lineup, which we will announce later in the show tonight. Okay?
Okay.
Now, last one, game notes. Weather is expected to be a little tricky tonight. There's a 40 to 50% chance of rain between 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. slated in the Provo, Utah area. Thunderstorms, lightning expected, Jarom. Will weather be a factor in this game?
Sounds like you just told us it was. Yeah. I don't want a lightning delay because that messes up with the momentum and the flow, and we've already had this with USF.
As long as the lightning delay is before the game starts, I'm okay with it. Just don't start the game and then have to stop it. That is the worst.
And listen, if this has to be a physical run game, hey, BYU's ready for that too. Either way, BYU's ready for whatever. It doesn't matter. For the fan experience and the home field advantage that BYU has, obviously no weather would be nice for them.
Yeah, I'm hoping not to see a ton of rain. Like if it rains between 4 and 6, whatever.
You're the sideline reporter. Of course you don't want rain.
Well,
you're on the field.
There are places I can go and take shelter.
Yeah, you're sheltered, fed by thy good care.
Okay. All right.
Topic 2, game day guarantees. Here's what I got for you. Guaranteed to not work. Actually, I cooled it a little bit. Okay. Number 1, BYU will rush for 2+ touchdowns. They have 2 exactly in all 3 wins. Okay. Number 2, Cougars will have a positive turnover margin. I just expect Utah State to cough it up for BYU not to. BYU's been amazing at that.
Okay.
And 3, BYU have 500+ yards of total offense. They have 500+ in both G5 games. I don't think I said anything that's crazy whatsoever in what I just said. I hope to get all 3.
You need all 3 because what are you this season? 2 for 12?
I am. I don't care over. It doesn't matter.
My game day guarantees. BYU will score first. The Cougars have not scored first in the last 2 games. Didn't score first against Wyoming. BYU will score first tonight. Fast start against the Aggies. Jaron Hall will complete passes to at least 6 different receivers. Guarantee that's going to happen.
He can do that left-handed.
Like he's been so good at distributing the ball, right? Like guaranteed.
6 is guaranteed.
He'll find at least 6 different receivers.
About 9.
And nine's pushing it.
6 upside down.
There's some dudes that are still injured. We don't know what's going to happen with Puka and Chase. Number 3.
Tight end.
Jacob Conover, and also a tight end transferred. Jacob Conover,
What?
I guarantee, will take 3+ snaps for BYU, which means he's in for at least one full series tonight because BYU's in control. Yep. Guarantee that Jacob Conover takes 3 or more snaps tonight for BYU.
I think we're going 6 for 6.
You think?
Yeah, guaranteed to go 3 for 6, but I feel like we're going 6.
Here's what's going to happen. Maybe Utah State kicks a field goal first. They go up like 3-0.
Utah State has kicked 1 field goal in 4 games, and it was against Connecticut. How about that?
Okay.
1!
Or Jaron Hall, completes passes to 5 receivers.
Only 5?
There's always something where I would love to go 6 for 6.
I know. That's why we love it. It's not like what we